Hello, and this is my education and cultural autobiography. I grew up going to two different elementary schools, Jefferson Elementary for kindergarten and first grade, and then WK for second through fifth grade. I also attended Winona Middle School and Winona Senior High School. For this autobiography, I'm going to talk about how my race, class, and gender played into my K through 12 education experiences. This is a chart showing the racial demographic of my schools. And this is specifically high school, but this is a majority of the other schools I attended as well. It was primarily white at 85%, 5% African American, 4% Asian, 3% Hispanic or Latino, and then 3% of other races. I could tell that my schools were a little more diverse and that students looked different than me at a pretty young age. We do have a bigger Hmong population in Winona, and those were some of my first friends outside of my own culture that I developed. I think I grew up in a typical um, American middle class family. Both of my parents were teachers. My dad at the school district high school level, and mom at the collegiate level. I had two brothers who were exactly a year ahead of me in school, attending the same school that I went to. We lived in a subdivision in Winona and usually wore non name brand clothing. I classify as a female. I am a heterosexual female. Um, I do feel very strong and empowered by my gender, and I think that has to do with how strong of a woman my mom is and my grandma as well. I knew I was a female and identified as female at a pretty young age, um, and I'm still not afraid to challenge stereotypes in that I am sporty. I do like to go hunting and fishing. I don't wear pink usually. Just typical stereotypes that you would think girls do or wear. I would say that I do not align to that extent. In elementary school, for the most part, there was fluidity among groups. It really wasn't split up into certain classes, your background, or demographic, but everyone hung out with pretty much everyone in school. Um, there were, however, an instance of gender bias, and one example of that was I got a haircut in third grade, and it was kind of like a mushroom cut. And for girls back then, it was an uncommon thing, and I was actually bullied for that at school in third grade. So the idea of gender roles was an interesting concept for elementary school kids. I remember in middle school that I started to grow a little bit more exclusive group of friends, but overall, everyone was still inclusive, I would say, for the most part. You can still be yourself, and no one really judged you for who you were or who you associated with. High school was the time in my education where I really noticed a racial divide. I noticed very exclusive groups of students. If you had name brand clothing, you hung out with those same kids. If you were a musical student, you hung out with that group. It was so divided at my high school, and that really bothered me throughout the years. I didn't understand why there needed to be such divide, and I maintained my own fluidity among groups. I never wanted to just associate with one because I feel as humans, you don't just associate with one group. You're unique in your own right, and that takes a bunch of different roles. So I was fluid among my status of group in class and didn't let the racial or class divide bother me. All right, this has been my educational and cultural autobiography, and I hope that you learned a little bit more about my K through 12 experience. Overall, it was very positive, and it helped me get to where I am today in life. Thank you.